I'm curious here. It just I'm always trying to find some overlap betwixt teams, and I'm very
Oh,
curious for the both of you. We're talking about you. You mentioned Adam Thielen and how he is amazing when healthy. Absolutely. Last year, before he was injured, he was on pace to be, or he was throughout that time, a fringe wide receiver one, if not an outright wide receiver one at that time. So now we're talking about Darnell Mooney being the guy on the Bears. They're very, very close in ADP in full PPR format. So I'm curious for both of you, would you rather have Thielen or Mooney this year? Evan, let's start with you.
I'd probably go Mooney. Just because he is the one, he's probably going to get 150 targets, and he is great. Like, he's improved every year. I love Mooney. He's like one of my favorite players. And yeah, I mean, you look at a lot of the underlying advanced statistics, and he was actually like top 12 or top 18 in a lot of, things. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I did a big piece on him earlier in the offseason, but things like target share and yards per route run, all that kind of stuff. He's very good.
Dog.
He's underrated route runner. He is a dog, absolutely. And so I think I would probably go Mooney, because with Thielen, you've always got that worry about the health. Like, oh, is he going to get beat up? Is he going to? And KJ Osborne's no joke. Like, I really like KJ Osborne this year, especially the Rams. Again, something that the Rams do a lot of is run 3 wide receiver sets. They ran 87% of 3 wide receiver sets versus only 60% for the Vikings last year. I think there's going to be a lot more 3 wide receiver sets. There's already been, like, one of the big things that always buoyed Thielen's value was his touchdowns. He had so many touchdowns over the last couple of years. It was insane. And whilst I'm not going to take that away from him, I'm not going to be like, oh, touchdowns are bad, because actually, contrary to popular belief, touchdowns are a good thing.
Yes.
But I know, groundbreaking.
Shocking.
But like, the thing is, I think that, you already saw Osborne came out of nowhere. He had no targets as a rookie. Last year, he had like 80 targets and he got like 7 touchdowns. So he's really getting this chemistry with Kirk Cousins as well. So I just feel like there's certainly, I mean, to your point, before he got injured in week 12 last year, Adam Thielen was wide receiver 7, I believe, in PPR. So he was a top 7 or 9, somewhere like that. But he was a top 12 wide receiver before he got injured.
He was good.
Yeah. He was hashtag
Yes.
good. And so I think, to your point, he stays healthy. They have a high-powered offense. He's very good. But there's a lot of ways in which, he could go wrong. He could get injured. He's a bit older. Or it could just become, Jefferson and Osborne a lot, and then maybe he's the third. Maybe this is the year he gets bypassed a little bit. We don't know. So I'd probably lean Mooney personally. What about you, John?
I'd lean Mooney as well, just for the same reason that you said. He's the guy in his offense. And he should have such an insane target share. I think it's interesting what you brought up about the touchdowns for Thielen, how touchdowns are actually a good thing. That, I think, is going to be that's kind of the balancing between the two, right? Like, you have Mooney, who's going to demand such a high target share, but we don't know how many touchdowns he's kind of got in him in that offense, whereas Adam Thielen is almost assuredly going to have less yards. Oh, the screen blanked on me. Can you guys hear me?
You're good.
Yep. Okay.
We're back.
Okay. And we're back. Thielen is almost assuredly going to have less targets, receptions, and yards than Mooney, but he's capable of putting up like 12 or 14 touchdowns, and Mooney might have 4 on the whole year. So it's kind of a bit of a balance, there. I think that I would probably still go Mooney, especially in PPR leagues, but it's close. I think it's deserving for their ADP to be close, because I think that there's good arguments for the different methods in which they are most likely going to go about getting their fantasy points.